I should try to think of, what the hell are we doing here? Why are we doing this? And what are you going to do? Put it on YouTube?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Hi, I am Jesse. I am a filmmaker, and this is my grandpa.
I'm Dave, former filmmaker.
My grandpa and I talk about movies all the time. He gave me a great overview of all the classics when I was like really young, and so he's been teaching me about movies my whole life, and so I wanted to just talk about some of the new movies that are coming out with him. And so Mad Max was one that had a lot of hype around it. I was really excited about it.
I was too. Yeah, so anyway, what did you think of it?
It was just ceaseless action, which I really thought was cool. Like, it was just one amazing sequence into another amazing sequence with barely time to breathe.
First of all, I want to say that I'm very glad that I saw it. It's a kind of a thing I wouldn't want to miss. But I'm not so sure I loved it. The action was fantastic, but I got a little tired of it after a while. I think somebody said that they could have cut 20 minutes out of it, and I agree with that. It just was kind of the same thing again and again. Maybe I'm old-fashioned, but I still like pictures with more of a story to them, a beginning, a middle, and an end, and some background on the people, and something to really care about the people. That was one of the faults I found with this. I didn't really care about anybody. And I think if I was maybe 30, 40 years younger, I would really have loved it. It's the kind of thing I do like, but I'm a little burned out on so many of the action pictures that have been seen with the typical CGI and so on.
The music was awesome.
The music was very good.
The score was
And they had
fantastic.
these guys beating on the drums during the war chases. I guess that was to stimulate the wildness of the warriors.
I think that specifically the action, all of the action sequences, they were really unique to this movie and this environment. There were all these other elements, like the sand plays a part, and
jumping on long poles that swing from one car to another and come down through the moon roofs.
Oh yeah, and then also they just had elements that were completely crazy, like just for the sake of being crazy, like the guitar player who shoots fire at people. Like, that was fantastic.
We saw it in a very fancy theater where they had. It was the
reclining seats.
Theater with big reclining seats, and every time there's a jolt of a car or something, the seat jolts. And I'm not so sure I really like that feel-o-vision.
Now, what did you think about the 3D? Because I know when we saw the Avengers together a while ago, you didn't like the 3D in that. But what did you think of it for Mad Max?
Oh, I loved it in this. I loved the 3D and Gravity. I think that one we saw with the Avengers was maybe the phony 3D, where they take an existing 2D picture and somehow convert it by shooting one picture from two cameras. But anyway, the 3D definitely added to this.
I agree, totally.
And they used it very well, and it lent itself to 3D. Things were moving front and back.
Right. I thought that one shot toward the end where there's just like all the stuff coming toward the camera in slow motion, I just thought that was a little bit gratuitous. Like, I thought it was like, oh, in your face 3D. It was like kind of like, back when they first invented 3D and they thought just shove everything at you. I
was in the second 3D movie made at Warner Brothers. It was actually the third 3D, and I got the arrow through the chest, and that was a big 3D effect when you see the arrow going.
Charge of Feather River. It's true. You ain't lying. And so you haven't seen any of the other Mad Max movies, right?
No, I would like very much to do that. It'd be fun to see the progression. It's interesting. It's the same guy that did the original 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah.
Did this one.
George Miller,
Yeah, he's 70 years old. And of all things, he was doing totally opposite kinds of things in Hollywood. He did the
Happy Feet,
Happy Feet, and he did the one with the pig.
Yeah, Babe.
Yeah, Babe. That'll do. Pig. Mm-hmm. Which I love both of those very much.
Yeah.
But to see the whole other side of him It was interesting. So
Yeah.
what else can we say about it? It looked like something that was made for film school.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I never really got into it that I was kind of seeing a movie that I was to really get into. It was just an interesting experiment.
Right. I mean, I was into it just because, I mean, it really just, in the very beginning of the movie, it tells you what it's going to be. It's like, my name is Max, and my only instinct is to survive, period. And, like, that's the whole movie, you know, pretty much is him just trying to survive. And then he gets sucked into this thing that he's not really a part of. His luck leads him to Charlize Theron, and she has her own master plot. Max is just kind of along for the ride, which is cool. I think that was a cool
And they're both
element.
very good actors. They didn't have too much acting to do in this, unfortunately, but they were certainly competent. What was the fellow's name? I can't think of it offhand. Who's the actor who played Max?
Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy. He was in this picture called Locke, where the whole picture, again, like an experiment, can it be done? He's driving a truck. The damn picture just holds up beautifully with nothing but him driving a truck and talking on the phone. A very interesting experiment that I thought really worked, because that one I was into. But it was a very, very interesting experience to see what somebody could do with this concept of a bunch of weird characters in a post-apocalyptic time chasing each other across the desert and riding in reconstructed vehicles made up of spare parts of many different vintages of cars. That alone is worth the price of admission.
Oh, yeah.
The way they doctored up the parts from the old cars and used them as fighting machines, and it was very interesting. I'm glad we saw it.
Yeah, I definitely would recommend it.
Yeah.
Cool. And 3D was worth it.
Yes. Yeah, 2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up.